Schos für Jerusalem für Yechio Michel ben Bela, für Behüdes was Yecheved. Baruch Hashem. Shilat Bas Aliza, Daniel ben Aliza, and Yosef ben Seuda. Just once again to ask if it's possible to just hold off with the shilos to lift to the shea. We're on video, Baruch Hashem, so any of the shilos that we can save for later, it's also a little bit time consuming. We'll try to cover as much as we could. Any shilos that we have, we'll talk about after the shea. So last year we left over on two parts. We spoke mainly about Kiddush Makom Seuda, the different halachas, the different shittas about Kiddush Makom Seuda. And we had the last two parts which we're going to get to about regarding using Chama Medina. You know, many times people like Shabbos morning to use schnapps or to use other beverages, not to have to make Kiddush on wine. What's the halacha regarding using Chama Medina when it comes to Kiddush? And also the usage of disposable cups. When one makes Kiddush, does it have to be a kos? Does it have to be from a becha? Or is there any leniency in using a disposable cup? So let's first discuss now the halachas of Chama Medina. We'll start off with a mechaber in Siman Reisha and Beis Sif Tes, where the mechaber says that b'makom she'ein yayin matzah, in places where it was very difficult to get a hold of wine, it wasn't a common drink, they weren't able to import wine into the country. So there he says that Friday night, you know Friday night we mentioned last week is Kiddush is D'Oraisa, Shabbos morning Kiddush is D'Rabbanan. So he starts off with Friday night where Kiddush is D'Oraisa, Yeshemim Shemakachin al Sheikha, you're allowed to go ahead and use Sheikha, you could use beer which is Chama Medina, being that Yain is not Matzui. He starts off that the Yain has to not be Matzui. It's mashma if it would be Matzui, you can't use Chama Medina. But b'makom she'ein Yain Matzui, if it's not common, you could use Sheikha, because Sheikha is Chama Medina. Chutz min hamayim, except for water, because water can't be Chama Medina, it doesn't have chashivas, it's not an Indian of kavod, so therefore water's out. But then he says, v'yesham, and others say she'ein makachin. Then when it comes to Friday night, being the Kiddush is D'Oraisa, we want to be choshit for the sheet of the Rambam that you can't use Chama Medina, and therefore you use pas. You use bread, because pas is better than Chama Medina. It's, right, Friday night. The Mechaber is talking about Friday night, he says we should use pas. Why? Because pas is a Michael Chashuv. So therefore, if one doesn't have wine, he uses pas. However, during the daytime, even though pas is more Chashuv than Chama Medina, the problem is that the Kiddush of Shabbos morning was really just the bracha itself. This that they added on, Zohar Shem Shabbos Hakacha, came Berach, that was a later on addition that was added on to the Kiddush. But technically, la halacha, the Kiddush, the verse of the Kiddush is merely the Bar Priyagofen itself. So if one were to use Pas Shabbos morning, you don't even know he's making Kiddush, because maybe he's just eating a regular breakfast. Many people have for breakfast, they have bread. So if he's going to go ahead and make a motzi, who said that could serve as the Kiddush? You're not showing that you're making Kiddush. If the person takes wine, so usually a person doesn't have wine before the meal in the morning, they'll have during the meal, or maybe you won't even have in the morning. So therefore, he makes a Bar Priyagofen and you see the person's doing Kiddush. However, if he's going to take bread, you're not doing really an act. There's no notion that you're going in and making Kiddush. So therefore, it says the Mechaber that if you don't have Yayin, you don't use Pas Shabbos morning, you use Chama Medina, you use Sheikha or other Chama Medinas. Now the Mishnah Berurah points out, he says, in Sivkar Nechavtes, Avol Yayin b'makom shum matzah, but in places where it's common to have wine, like let's say today in America, over there, Vadi Yivarech Alav Afilu B'Yayim. Even by daytime, one should use wine, and he shouldn't use Chama Medina. K'moshe Kosev Mechaber, the Mechaber writes in Reish Pei Tes Siv Beis. The Mechaber writes in Mefurish, and Siman Reish Pei Tes Siv Beis. The Mechaber quotes, "B'makom she'en yayin matzoi, have a shecher v'shamashkin chutz me'amayim Chama Medina." But that's only b'makom, says the Mechaber, she'en yayin matzoi. That's only if yayin is not matzoi. However, if yayin is matzoi, one should not use Chama Medina. That's the Shita of the Mishnah Berurah, and seemingly the Shita of the Shulchan Aruch. The Aruch HaShulchan, he cites that he saw that there were Kama Gedolei Talmidei Chachamim, that it would come Shabbos morning, they wouldn't make Kiddush on wine. They would use Sheikha, or they would use other beverages. And he tries to be Miyashav the Minig a little bit, he goes a little bit, the same different svaris. And in Sifti Daled, he says, Amnon, Kol HaTaimim, all the reasons that I said, is Ein Miskav Mal Alev. L'maisa, it's not a good shot. Because there are many Rishonim who held that the Soif Vada Yayin Toiv, Min Shari Mashkim, Vada Yayin is a lot better than when it comes to Shar Mashkim. So he wants to say, Lanir is Daiti, he says, you know what the limit schos is? Lenir is daiti nerabar. It seems to me that the pshat is Dehine atur kosav shari mashin chamar medina. He says that you have to understand in the times of Kadmanenu, in the early generations, and the times of the Goyim, Hayi beBavel, and they were in Spain, they were in Sarfas, they were in Ashkenaz, they were in Germany. Shesham yeshayin is habi. In France, there are many wines. There's a tremendous amount of flow of wine. So being that there's so much wine there, was yayin matzi. But the Aruch Shulchan says that today, where they live today, and even the wine that they have, it's so hard to import it, it's so expensive, it's yayin b'yoker. So being that it's so difficult to get our hands on wine, that's why we find that there are Talmidei Chachamim who went ahead and used other beverages besides wine to make Kiddush. Ad kan divrei Aruch HaShulchan. So where it stands now, it seems clear that the makom of other person's yotzei, he uses other beverages. We're not saying he's not yotzei, but avad l'chatchila, it's better la'alacha for one to use wine. However, there's a Moridik Marsham. The Marsham, the Birjan Rov, he's from the greatest poskim throughout the entire Europe. He had correspondence with the greatest Gedolim. He's mamish from the Gedolei Ador of his time. And the Marsham writes a tshuva like this. Listen to this tshuva. The Marsham writes in Chelik Aleph and Simon Kuf Ayin Hey. Aval Hey Lefonai. He says someone came to me, testified that there was a Talmud Zaken, he was a Talmud Chacham Zaken, Shahoyu ba'atzmoi b'maimid b'fnei hagoyin hakadosh, the Av of Kehilas Ropshitz. He himself, this person tells the Marsham, that he himself was standing with Naftali Tzvi Ropshitz, he lived from 1760 to 1827. He was the founder of the Ropshitz Hasidus. He was also from the biggest rebbes of Galicia. And this fellow comes to Marsham and says, I'm telling you, I was standing by the Ropshitz when he made Kiddush Shabbos morning. Shetzivu Talmidov, and he instructed his Talmidim, he commanded them, he told them, L'Kaddish b'yoyim al-yayin tzaref. When it comes Shabbos morning, make Kiddush on Schnapps. V'agam shahi l'fon of yayin. Don't think we didn't have wine. There was wine sitting on the table. Anybody wanted wine? They had wine. But Naftali Tzvi Ropshitz told us Talmidim that we have to go ahead, we're making it on Schnapps, Kedei lahoros halacha l'Talmidim, to go ahead and show the Talmidim the halacha that one is allowed to go ahead l'chatchila since it's more chaviv, it tastes better, they like the taste better, so therefore even l'chatchila they're allowed to go ahead and make Kiddush on Schnapps. And the Marsham continues that don't think it was only the Ropshitz. You had also, he says, V'chein huad lefonai. Also, someone came and testified before me, B'shem hagoyin hachosid, the Av of Kehilus Kaminka. He was a Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov. He was a Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov. The Ropshitz was a Talmud of the Chayzim Lublin, Rabbi Nachum Mendel Rimonov, the Maggid Mikoznitz. But the Kamiki Rebbe was a Talmud of Baal Shem, which was the same Kufa as the Ropshitz. They lived during the same era. And not only that, he concludes the Tshuva Marsham and says, I'll tell you another great person that used to make Kiddush on Schnapps. The Chayzim Lublin, the great Chayzim Lublin, also he used to make Kiddush Shabbos morning on Schnapps. So here is where we have a little bit of a Pesach, because it's Tmu al Rabbi. You see many times people go ahead, Shabbos morning, Friday night everybody makes some wine. That's the standard practice. But there's so many times you see that Shabbos morning, that people make Kiddush on Schnapps. I remember that when we first opened the shul. So in the beginning, they asked me if I wanted wine or Schnapps. And it happens to be, I said, I can take Schnapps also, because you have the Marsham, the Ropshitz, the Chayzim Lublin. At that point at the time, there's something startling. What do you mean, who makes Kiddush on Schnapps Shabbos morning? But you find it, especially by Chassid Shavel, they make Kiddush on Schnapps. How do they do it? It's fakir from Shulchan Aruch L'chayr. The Mechaber says he prefaces the halacha only b'makom she'nyayin matzah. But here is really the Pesach of why you find that some sects in Klal Yisrael, they go ahead and they make Kiddush on Schnapps. So l'dina l'halach l'maisa, if somebody asks the Shiloh, Savadi, you could say that you go with the Shulchan Aruch, you go with the Mishabur, you go with the Aruch HaShulchan, but someone who has a minute, who says Mesorah, this is what his father did, his Adi did it like that, so there's Heshami Lismach over here. We're talking about the great Gedolim who make Kiddush on Schnapps. The question is, which brings us really to the next part of last week's share, is how big does the cup have to be? How big does the kos have to be? Today's Schnapps cups that I measured, the standard ones, the small ones, I think are like 1.1 ounce. And I searched, I tried to get larger cups. I think the biggest one they have is maybe 2 ounces. They have big ones already? They have
the regular supermarkets sell the bigger ones.
how big are those?
I don't know.
But they're not 3 ounces. You could get for 3 already? Okay, great. But it's most so the shaila is how big does the cup have to be? We know Friday night's Kiddush. The Friday night's Kiddush, the Mechaber says the size is a revius. And you only have to drink a malulugma, but the size of the cup has to be revius. What's a revius? So Friday night's the rice, and we take the Mohammedik Ashita. Shabbos morning revius is the Rabbanim. So again, this is a famous machlokes. How big is revius? Reb Chaim held 3 ounces. Reb Moshe held, I think, 3.3. Let's just say 3 ounces for argument's sake. I don't know, many of the shot places aren't 3 ounces. So the shaila is, granted, somebody has the Messiah of the Masham, he's going to go with the Chaysim Lablin, he's going to make Kiddush on Schnapps, because to him it's Mochalav, he likes Schnapps better. So he's going to make Kiddush on Schnapps. But how big does the cup have to be? So to answer the shaila, we really have to touch upon, which is really the only Pesach to really lead us into understanding how to paskin the shaila, is into a famous machlokes between a Taz and a Magen Avram and Simon Kuf Tzadik. The Hainu like this. The halacha is, the Mechaber says in Reish Yud, that even though when it comes to a bracha rishona, even on a mashu you make the bracha, but when it comes to a bracha achrona of a liquid, it's a machlokes. He brings down 2 days. Some say you need a revius, and some say you need a kazayis. So some brachas lahakol, so we need to share of the revius to make a bracha achrona. Comes the Taz and says a tremendous chiddush. Says the Taz, you know when I need a revius to make a bracha achrona on a liquid? That's only on a regular beverage, on a standard drink. But when it comes to schnapps, it comes to yain sorov, it's a very sharp drink, and even a small amount, it's miyat v'daite. It's enough for the person. I'm sorry? So his lashon is choshev. I think his lashon is, I don't know the chelik beis, I think his lashon is miyat v'daite. Check, it's in Kuf Tzadik. Mr. Bruggen's in Yudal, take a look. But I think the lashon is miyat v'daite. It's schnapps is a very strong drink. The general way how to have a drinking of schnapps is only a small amount. So therefore says the Taz, even if someone has a small amount, he goes ahead and he still makes a bracha achrona. So the Magen Avram says, no, what are you talking about? That less than a vis, you can never make a bracha achrona. And the Magen Avram, the Shari Tshuva, the Ksois HaShulchan, the Yerabah, the Mishnah Berurah, the Yoruch Shulchan, they're all chaylik on the Taz. And they say no. The same way by regular liquid you need a vis to make a bracha achrona. Who then also when it comes to yain sorov, if it comes to schnapps, you have to have a revius. Let's turn back to the Marsham. Listen to this Marsham. Comes the Marsham says that I hold that Shabbos morning when you make Kiddush on Schnapps, you don't need a revius. You know why you don't need a revius? Because you have the Shittas Ataz and Simon Kuf Tzadik. That when it comes to Schnapps, even a small amount, it's miyat v'daite, and you can make a bracha achrona. So being that it's a sheer choshev, even a small amount, that the Taz warranted a bracha achrona, says the Marsham, you're allowed to go ahead and make Kiddush even on a cup that's less than a revius. It's unbelievable. Writes the Marsham like this, when he brings down that the person came to him about the Av Bezin of Ropshitz, Shetzivu l'tamidu l'kadosh b'yoyim al yayin sorov, al tzaluchas cotton, even on a small shot glass, kederach shtiyasi, that's the way of drinking it. Then tzarach shir kais, you don't need the standard shir kais of a revius. He says why? Because you have a hainu al pi divrei ataz, like you have the sheet of the Taz, that the Taz holds, you're allowed to go ahead and you're allowed to make a bracha achrona, it's a shir choshev, even less than a revius. And that's how the Chaysim Lablin held. And even also, there are many poskim that used to do it on schnapps. The Orchis Chaim he brings, the Belzer Rebbe used to make it on schnapps. But the heter, the limit schos of why people use a shot glass when they make Kiddush Shabbos morning is this chul of the Masham, because they're going with this Taz. The others who are chaylik, who hold no, you need a revius, because they're going with the other sheetas, the Magen Avram, the Mishnah Berurah, and everybody else, who held, according to us during the week, if a person's going to have schnapps less than a revius, they're going to say, "Seven brachas halachos, I'm not going to make the bracha achrona." But the Ma'aseh Shabbos morning, the ones who make Kiddush on a shot place is this sheet of the Kotzka, of the Chaysim Lablin, the great Masham. We're talking about a Masham over here. So that's the reason why they go ahead and they're soimach to use shot places for Kiddush. It's interesting, the Beis Shlomo, in the Ebenezer Siman Pei, he says, no, you can't use this Taz. He says, you know why? Because in times of the Taz, a person wanted a shot of whiskey. He took a little bit. But today, Baruch Hashem, this is in his times, imagine today. But Baruch Hashem today, what's a shot place? It doesn't even get you to the step of starting to warm up. See, he says the Beis Shlomo, he says, no, today you can't use the Taz. But the Meister Masham, he lived in the late 1800s. So this is the different chilukim, why some people do it on the Schnapps cup, some people don't, but it's basically always falling back in the Masham. What about using disposable cups for Kiddush? Do you have to use a kais, or could you use a paper cup, a plastic cup? Could that be used for Kiddush? So there's the Tzitz Eliezer, Milaz of Oldenburg. It's the Pesach of Shabbos.
On wine or schnapps?
What?
The Shabbos is on schnapps.
Oh, disposable cup? This could be about anything, any Kiddush. Let's say Shabbos morning, you don't have a becha. Let's say you don't have a becha. Rather, Agav, all our bechas today, they're silver. You ever wonder, how come they're silver, not gold? If anything, gold is better than silver. It's silver, and then it's kesef. I always bothered me, I always wondered, how come nobody had gold cups? Gold's more chashuv than silver. So there's a Kaf HaChaim. The Kaf HaChaim says that Al Pi Kabbalah, a person's not supposed to use Zav. He should use Kesef, because Kesef is Gematria, I think Elikim, he says. So Memela, it brings about Midas HaRachamim. Mashenke in Zav, he says a mystical, Kabbalistic shad, it's connected to Midas Hadin. So Al Pi Kabbalah, we don't use a gold cup. He uses a silver cup. That's why our Bech's a silver today, he writes. But what about a disposable cup? A paper cup, a plastic cup. Could somebody make Kiddush in such a cup? So we don't have the Tzitz Eliezer here. Rabbi Elazar of Oldenburg has this tshuva. In Chelek Yud Beis, in Siman Chav Gimel, and Rabbi Elazar of Oldenburg is matal chatchila to use a disposable cup for Kiddush. He says it's mutter, it's no problem. The person throws it out. He says, who cares the person throws it out? Because it happens today, they sell it for cheap. And we have so many of these cups, so we throw it out. But the cup, mitzad itself, these cups could last. You could reuse it many, many times. And many times you can even put hot water inside. So these are regular good cups. It's not called a kais chad pami, that there's a question of maybe it's not considered a kais chashuv. You can use it as long as you want. We have to throw them out. So therefore the Tzitz Eliezer paskins halach l'maisa, a person's allowed to go ahead and use a disposable cup for Kiddush. However, if you look, Reb Moshe in the Tshuvas, in Igris Moshe Arachayim Chel Gimel Simen Lamed Tes, he has a small tshuva about this, and they sent him this shaila. Hine b'dava kois l'kadesh, im eshoyim lasois al kois shenasa miniyah. Could you make Kiddush on a paper cup? Is it mutter to make Kiddush? So after the tshuva, Moshe ends off and he says like this. V'roy ani, shekois shel niyah. If you have a paper cup, shurak l'shah, it's only used one time. Al pam zel levad, it's only used once. Hu oid gerua, it's not good, it's gerua, it's something that's shvach. The elo shum chashivus, that's considered a cup that has no chashivus at all. Shevadai einu roi lebirch samazon l'kiddush. Shavada says that Moshe is saying a roi lebirch samazon l'kiddush. He says, kishaleka kais acher, if you have no other cup, so then he says, ulai yesh lahakol, maybe it can be maker. But yesh lema, there's no machlokes between the Tzitz Eliezer and the Moshe. Why is that? If you look, Rav Shlomo Zalman, in the Shmir Shabbos Kochasa, he also brings up this shayla. The person go ahead and make Kiddush on a plastic cup. And he writes over here on top in Sif Yud Aleph, he says, firstly, Yadarach HaKois No. Why? Because they hid the mitzvahs. They need to have a nice cup outside the mitzvah. Don't use a kois that you only use one time. But then he says again, if you don't have anything else, he says, let somebody you could use it. But he writes in the Oris, he says like this. The Nero. The kois is ke'ela shem yuchadim lekach. The gam anoshim chashuvim mishtamshim behem besudas chashuvos. Ein lahakbid b'yoysim ein kois acheres. The Shlomo Zalman in the Shmir Shabbos Kochasi, he says that l'chori can make he doesn't write this, but l'chori can make a difference between a paper cup and a plastic cup. Somebody uses a paper cup, if they use it one time, it gets dirty, it's hard to clean out. Styrofoam cup, a person drinks a coffee, it's hard to clean. But plastic cups, even if you go to, let's say, a Seuda Chashuva, you go to a nice Kiddush, a fancy Kiddush, or even, let's say, you stay for a meal afterwards. In the hotels, they give dishes, but many of these meals, they have plastic, and they serve these plastic cups, and they're considered kais chashivas. So Kuri of Moshe, his whole tshuva is only talking about a kais near, like a paper cup or a styrofoam cup. But you have today plastic cups that people use by Kiddushin and these affairs. But Moshe L'chai would also be matter and be makel to use these cups. So therefore, the dinner, there's a big mocking to say that when it comes to plastic cups, the Tzitz Eliezer for sure, he's Zicha Mutter. But even according to Rav Moshe, there's a big tzad to say that perhaps Rav Moshe would have been matter to use plastic cups. Paper cups, you're right. The styrofoam cup that's hard to clean out ain't a chanami. But when it comes to a plastic cup that they serve by nice meals, they have these plastic cups. That Avadi, you could say, is smart that even Rav Moshe should be masking. Now I wanted to finish off with a very important yesod here. Up until now, we were talking about Kiddush and Seuda. That was all for Anoshim. That was all about for the men. What about regarding women? What's the shayla? The shayla is like this. In Siman Kuvav, let's get a Shulchan Aruch. I'm sorry. It's over here. Knowledge. Thanks. Chelik Aleph. You got this one?
This?
Thank you. In Siman Kuvav, we know what halacha is that, let's say, before davening, even during the week. So before davening, the Mechaber says in Siman Pei Tes, unless somebody's a chayla, but a regular healthy person, he can't eat before davening. Today we're making on coffee and water and tea. We're making on, let's say, a coffee or tea today. But there's a question, a lot of sugar, a little sugar. What the minhag is to make on coffee and waters today, liquids, before davening. But to eat before davening, we can't eat. The Mechaber says the person is not allowed to eat before Shachar Siman Pei Tes. Now, once the Chiyuv Kiddush starts, a person can't have anything without Kiddush. The question is regarding a woman, regarding an Isha. Does she have a Chiyuv to daven or not? Does she have a Chiyuv Tefillah? So the Mechaber in Siman Kuvav, in Sif Aleph, the Mechaber writes, "V'noshim v'avodim afa pisha betur mekriyishma." Even though a woman's part from saying kriyishma, says the Mechaber chayav mitfilah. They're still mechuyev to daven. Why? Because it's a mitzvah say shelo has mangrom. Come to Poskim and explain the Mechaber like this. This time we're saying the mechuyev in tefillah. What does that mean? The mechuyev in tefillah. The Rambam holds that midoraisa, a person's yotze his tefillah midoraisa. He's yotze his tefillah as long as he has a bakasha. He says shvach loydot v'akadosh baruch hu. Midoraisa he's yotze his tefillah. Schiyuv tefillah doraisa he's yotze. It's only that Medivrei Seifim, the Rabbanan came ahead, they enacted a whole musach of tefillah, they made a Shemon Esrei, the Yud Ches Brachis. That's a Rabbanan Dikadin, and that's time constraint, that's my grama. But the biblical chiyah, the biblical obligation of saying the bakasha, with Hashvach Loidah, according to the Rambam, one is Yotze, which is just saying the bakasha b'yam. A person says brachas in the morning and the Yehirah afterwards. So you have over there Shvach, you have Loidah, and you have bakasha. The din is, a person with the rice is Yosef's tefillah. So the Magen Avraham says that according to this Rambam, what's not Zman Grama? What's not Zman Grama is the Midaraisa Dikachiyv, of saying just the Bakasha B'Yam. Came the Rabbanan along and they said, no, there's a Chiyuv to daven Shemon Esrei. That's Zman Grama. That they gave his Zman Tefillah for. So Melo, according to this, says the Magen Avraham, now we can understand why Rav ladies, Rav Nashim don't daven. Because since according to the Rambam, they yotze with the bakasha b'yalma, they yotze the chiv midaraisa with the bakasha. That's ein zman grama. That a person can do all day long. So that noshim ha-mechuyevim. This that the Rabbanan came ahead and made a chiv of Yud Ches Brachis, that's zman grama. That ladies are potter. Says the Magen Avraham, now I understand according to the Shittas HaRambam why ladies are potter from davening Shemon Esrei because they yotze with the bakasha, they're saying brachis. And the yirotz in the morning, they yotze the chiv. However, that's how the Magen Avraham learns, and that's the Shittas HaRambam. However, the Ramban learns not like that. The Ramban learns, no. The Ramban says, Avodas Ramban sheikim mitzvahs tefillah midivrei seifim. You're right, tefillah is midrabanan. And you're right, this is man of tefillah also. But ladies are mechuyev in tefillah. Why are they mechuyev in tefillah? Because tefillah is bakashas rachamim. So when a person beseeches HaKadosh Baruch Hu for all his needs, a lady also needs bakashas rachamim. So therefore the Ramban says the lady's mechuyev to daven Shemona Esrei. So here you have a machlokes between the Rambam's mahalach, the way the Magen Avram's learning, and the Ramban if the woman has to daven Shemona Esrei. The Magen Avram says, now we understand why Roiv Nashim, why the majority of ladies never know you have to daven Shemona Esrei. But according to Ramban, he says no, they have to go ahead, they have to daven. So how do we paskin? So the Mishnah Berurah writes, V'chei the Mishnah Berurah himself paskin like the Ramban. Ki kein das Roiv HaPoiskim, that's the majority of the Poiskim, that they go like the Shita of the Ramban, and that's how the Shagas Aryeh learns. And therefore the Mishnah Berurah Shita was, the Chavetz Chaim Shita was, that the ladies mechuyev to daven Shachris u'Mincha, because of the Shitas of the Ramban. However, the Magen Avram is chayv. You should know, just parenthetically, it's interesting to note that Reb Moshe held that, let's say a woman is taking care of the kids, she's taking care of the children, and she doesn't have time to daven. So Reb Moshe held, she doesn't have to daven. He said, Reb Moshe said over that, you don't have to be more frugal than Unzer Babis. Unzer Babis, they didn't daven, they're busy with the kids. So we don't have to go ahead today in our generation be more frugal than the Babis. If they're busy taking care of the kids, they're busy taking care of the kids. It's interesting that Rabbi Leib, it's the Piskei Chuvas brings it down. I forgot to bring one, but he brings it down that the son of the Chavetz Chaim, Shkoyach Chelik Rishon, I'll read it to you inside. Thank you. The view Sefer Sichas HaChavetz Chaim. He brings down, the Chavetz Chaim's son brings down in Chelik Aleph Ois Chav Zayin, Shekoyset B'noi Rabbi Leib Zatzal. Rabbi Leib, he writes, B'zel Lashona, he writes in this Lashon. He says, Imi, my mother, Zatzal, Kemat, V'lo Yispal Lo Kol Zman Shlo Yitzal Mitach Sideh. Until we got older, she didn't have to take care of us, she Kemat never davened. Ba'amali, and he asked his mother, how do you not daven? The Chavetz Chaim is the sheet that holds the ladies on mechuyev. So Ba'amali, he said, because Ki Avi, your father Pachali, your father, the Chavetz Chaim said, I'm not mechuyev to daven, busy with the kids. So even though the Chavetz Chaim himself passing like the Ramban, but you see that the Magen Avram, the Rambam was still a shita, that b'makom she's busy with the children, she doesn't have time to daven. You see with the Chavetz Chaim over the Magen Avram that she'll be yotzi with a bakasha and saying the brachas in the morning yiratz, and she'll be yotzi with that. They say the same thing of Yaakov Kamenetsky. Also in the Chazonish says the same thing in the Parador. That if a lady's busy with her children, she's busy taking care of the kids, she doesn't have time. You have the sheet of the Magen Avram, you have the bakasha, and you have the yiratz. In a cham, if the lady has time, the Mishnah Berurah held, you have to go like the Ramban. But other than that, if she's in the top of Biladeh, you have the sheet of the Magen Avram. So now Rabbi say, listen to this. Here's the shayla. A lady gets up Shabbos morning. Memon Shach. Take a standard day. It could be my statistics are wrong, but I'm assuming that most housewives or most women, what they do is in the morning is they get up. Let's take the ones that daven. What they do is first is that they say brachas, they eat breakfast, and then afterwards they daven. Why? Because since according to the Magen Avram they're already yotza. The chiyuv tefillah of the bakashas says no isser of eating before davening anymore. I shitas Ramban says Reb Moshe in the Igris, very nice. They're going to go like the Ramban, but ad kedei kach that they're going to create an isser achila on top of that far they want to call on themselves. So therefore, yes, very nice. Ladies going to go like the Ramban during the week. That she'll daven Shemona if she has the time. But to say that there's an isser achila before davening, that far they didn't go, because on that they're going to use the Magen Avram that they already davened. Come Shabbos morning, she says brachas with the Hiratzin, or she says Birch Satayr. Birch Satayr has in it the Bakasha, the Haidah, and the Shvach. She says Birch Satayr. Now 1 second. So it comes out that she already davened according to the Rambam. So in order for her to even take a drink, she has to make Kiddush. Because a person doesn't take a drink before Kiddush. If it's before she ever said her brachas, it's mamash in the morning, so you could say that before she says her brachas, it's like before the man davens. So you want to have a coffee or mayim, that's fine. But to have cake, that'll be this eating before davening. So L-Meiah what? She says her brachas, but if she says her brachas, she has a chiyuv Kiddush. She's not eating before Kiddush. So it says Reb Shlomo Zalman, listen to Reb Shlomo Zalman. It's a murder gechad manashach. Where are you going to put yourself? Comes Reb Shlomo Zalman to Shmir Shabbos Kochasa. I'm going to tell you now, it's starting in Kiddush Reb Moshe. But let me just tell you this to Reb Shlomo Zalman. Isha, sheregilu l'spal tamid tefillah shachris kodim shetoichel. A lady who always goes ahead and does the whole davening before she eats, so then she'll be like a man that she could have coffee, she could have a drink. But let's say she says her bakasha in the morning and then she eats. Right after Netilas Yadayim. And Tefillah Shachar she does later, like most women do. Or she doesn't daven later, because she goes like the Magen Avram. L'chayra, harei kiven sham her bakasha kum mitasa, being that when she got up, she said her bakasha in the morning, l'chayra mutaleh achiv Kiddush. Once it's already Chal Chiv Kiddush, she can't even go ahead and she can't eat before she makes Kiddush. So Mela says to Shem Zam, let her make Kiddush in the morning. She's talking to make Kiddush. However, comes a Moshe and Tshuva, listen to this Kiddush of Moshe. The Moshe and the Igris Moshe, you have to see this inside. It's a small piece, but it's a startling Kiddush from Moshe. It's in the Igris Moshe, Archaim Chelik Dalad, in Simin Kuf Aleph Ois Beis. He writes like this. He says, he wants to say that being that there's a shibud, that the lady has to be able, that she has to eat with her husband. There's a Mechaber Even Ezer that says that let's say a man goes over to his wife and says, listen, I'll take care of you, I'll give you your meals, I don't want to eat together with you. Here's how much money you need for food. You need $300-$400 a week, here's the money, go eat yourself. So there's some shibud in Shulchan Aruch that say that he can't do that because he has a shibud to eat with her. Inside the Baal, he has to eat together with her. The Ramah says, others say, no, he doesn't have to eat with her. He can give her the money and she'll buy the food herself and she'll eat it. But mitzad the lady to the man, says Rav Moshe, she has a shibud to eat with her husband. And being mitzad the Baal, since the Baal's Chiv Kiddush doesn't start until he finishes davening, so says Rav Moshe, since his Chiv Kiddush doesn't start till after davening, and she's meshubah to eat with her husband, her Chiv Kiddush doesn't start either, and she could have a full meal, she could eat a meal. She could eat a meal without making Kiddush. Says, unbelievable. Just parenthetically, one of the big rabbis came to the Chazon Ish, and he asked the Chazon Ish, he wanted to come over to him for a meal Friday night, to eat in the house. So the Chazon Ish says, and the Rebbe says, the Chazon Ish tells him, it's be my pleasure to have you. It's Mamash Kavod Gadol, Mamash Choshen Rebbe. So the Rebbe says, I want to come, but you have to do me one favor, that by the Chassidim, he tells the Chazon Ish, they know you get the men and ladies eat in different rooms. So if you could just have your wife eat in the kitchen, and we'll together eat in the dining room. So the Chazon Ish tells him, I'm sorry, I can't invite you. It's verkehrt from Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch says that there's a shibud, the husband has to eat with his wife. So how could I invite you over to the house? So the Chazon Ish didn't invite him. So Emes Amaisa.
That's pretty cool.
Try that today.
Harei Laniris Daiti, he says, Be'ishtei nitzrich l'kadesh, harei mishabedes l'bayla lechol davki imoy, v'kivan shebayla